Alrighty guys, so today what we're going to be doing is solving equations with higher degrees, maybe to the fourth power or the third power. And we're going to incorporate the idea of the nth root as far as this is concerned. So if you take a look, you remember, right, from last class, we talked about the important fact that if you take the nth root of something, if the index is odd, there's one answer. If the index is even, there are two answers, and you have to remember the plus or minus, okay? So if we take a look at these guys, right, we have to the fourth power and to the third power. I'm going to do both of these with you. Then if you'd like to pause, you can try these, and then I'll go through these examples, okay? So we're on worksheet 7-1A, okay? It's just these examples that you see on this page, that's it, and then you have a few of these for homework, all right? So what we want to do here, okay, is your steps. First thing you're going to do is isolate the exponent or, I should say not exponent, my bad, the variable with the exponent, okay, but the variable or the variable within the parentheses. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean by that on letter B. Okay, so that's the first thing. So just like you would solve, okay, like 2x equals 162, ignore the fourth power there, you would divide by 2. Okay, so I'm going to do the same exact thing here. So I'm going to divide by 2. Okay, then I'm going to get x to the fourth equals, and again, you should have your calculator available, right? So we'll do 162 divided by 2, and I get 81. Then in the opposite of it, an exponent of 4 is taking the fourth root of that. Those are opposite operations, right? So I'm going to take the fourth root of both sides, right? So once you isolate it, right, by doing the opposite operations, right, then you're going to take the nth root, let's say, of both sides. And when you talk about the nth root, it's always the same as the exponent of the variable. Okay, so I'm going to do the fourth root. That cancels out x, the fourth power. So then it's just x. Then in my calculator, remember, we're going to go for math. Go down to choice number 5. Again, yours might create a superscript there. Otherwise, if you have the older calculator like me, it'll look like this. Of 81, hit enter, and you get 3. Now, since this is an even index, I know I should have 2 answers, so you're going to have to put the plus or minus. That's the big thing, and that's what everybody always forgets. All right? So remember, if even index, having a lot of trouble writing today, even index, then you have to remember your plus or minus, okay? If odd index, it's always one solution, right? Which always has the same sign of the original, whatever you're taking the nth root of. Okay, so now if we look at letter B, it's a little bit different because you can see this quantity, right? I can't get to that x because of this third power, okay? So unlike this one where I'm isolating just the x, here I'm going to isolate the variable within the parentheses. So I'm going to get rid of, there's nothing being multiplied on the outside here or added or subtracted to this x minus 3. Everything's inside the parentheses. So right away, I'm going to take the third power, right, I'm going to use an index of 3 because this is the third power. Those will cancel each other. Then I'll just be left with x equals 3. And then the cube root of 8, okay, I know, right, if you hit math, you can go right to number 4 because the index is automatically 3 there. We put in 8. I know the answer is going to be 2, which it is, because 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 multiplied by itself 3 times, that's what the index means, is 8. Okay, so I knew that was going to be 2. Then the only other thing you need to do here is add 3, and then you get x equals 5. Okay, so notice one answer because of the odd index, okay? Two answers because of the even index, okay, when I solve. All right, so now if you'd like, you can hit pause, try the next two, or 3, I should say. I will move on to them, okay? If I look at number 4 and 5, right, these are similar to letter A. So I don't have to do anything to get x to the third power by itself, so I'm just gonna take the third root of each side, right? The third root and a cube cancel each other, so I just get x. And then the cube root of 64, again, I'm gonna go math, 64, and I'm gonna get 4. And I know this only has one solution, again, because, so one solution, because it's an odd index, okay? Then if I look at this one, it's 1/2, right, times x to the 4th equals 16. So I have to get rid of this 1/2. Well, the opposite of multiplying by 1/2 is multiplying by 2. So whatever I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other. So 2 times 1/2 is 1. So I just have x to the 4th, right? Equals 2 times 16, which is 32, right? So now I'm going to go math, right? So I did 16 times 2. I got that, 32. Then I'm going to do the 4th root. Again, I have to put the index first, math. Right, then go to this guy, then 32. And it doesn't give me a very nice answer, so you can just write x equals 2.37, ... That's fine, okay? Now the big thing though, again, your calculator will give you that estimated answer, but you have to remember the plus or minus here, again, because this is an even index, so you always have to have that plus or minus, okay? Now, last but not least, everything is inside the parentheses, right? So I gotta get to that x inside, but the parentheses are there because of the third power. So that's the first thing I'm gonna get rid of. So I'm gonna take the third root of that side, the third root of this side, it's x minus 1 equals, the third root of 27, you can use your calculator, but I know it's 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. These two cancel each other, I add 1 to both sides, and my answer is just x equals 4. Again, I didn't need a plus or minus here because this was an odd index. So if it's an odd index, right, then it's one solution. Okay, again, same idea here. One solution because of odd index, so vice versa, all right? So that's what your homework is gonna be like. I gave you, I think, 5 questions, okay? So make sure you're showing all your work for full credit and make sure you're checking your answers, okay? Have a good one, guys.